So here we go. So here's the story time with the DJ Josh and Portland Josh here, and I'll give it to Portland Josh for the first question.
Thanks, Josh. I'm Portland Josh, also known or recently formerly known as Tall Josh. I'm in town visiting from Portland, Oregon. Just really cool to hang out with Josh this weekend. But anyways, I proposed to Josh maybe a couple weeks ago with having a guest in town on the show today, if he'd be open to doing kind of an informal kind of sit down interview and stuff, and he agreed, so definitely appreciate Josh. I think without without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. First question, Josh, are you originally from Calgary?
I have to give you the...
Oh, whoops.
There we go. Yeah, I'm originally from Calgary there, and lived here most of my life. I did move out by Lethbridge, a small town called Idaho there for a little bit there, just for my dad's side of the family there, and it was a short time before we lived there, but then I had to move back to Calgary to start working and start living here. So this kind of still been living in Alberta, just kind of mostly in southern Alberta the whole time there. So where I've been living, just kind of moved around a couple times in Calgary here, just to get closer to work, and just had to get around to work where I was living. So that'll be the answer to the first question there. And we'll go back to the Portland Josh here for the second question.
That's awesome. Thanks, bro. What was or were your favorite subject or subjects in school, Josh?
Yeah, so my favorite subject in school there would probably be I wasn't really a fan of all the other subjects like science and math and history or whatever they called it. I guess it was called social studies when I was back in school, but I was really a fan of those. I think I liked gym because we got to do different things, go play basketball or volleyball or whatever the activities, and then we sometimes went out to the track and field and ran around the track there, or played soccer outside there. So pretty fun to do that in the school there. So that was probably my most favorite subject when I was in high school. But that was in Norfolk, in the small town, so we got to know everybody in the class, and we had a good time just hanging out together to play different sports together, and get to have a good time doing whatever sports we had doing there. So that was probably my favorite subject in school there, because I wasn't really a big fan of everything else. I didn't really enjoy the math or any other subjects in the school there. So that would be the answer to the second question there, and we'll give it back to Portland Josh for the third question here.
Thank you. Well, actually, I think on the third question, I think it kind of covered, like in the last, do you, or did you do extracurricular activities? If so, which one?
All right, yeah, so it was mostly in high school, apart from doing gym there, I did play basketball for the team. It was called the Noble Central Blades there, since it was a kind of farming town there, so they called the team the Blades there, which is more of a farming term there. But I played for the team for a little bit, and I was the center there, and did the best I could there to do just to keep busy and do games and play different teams here in Alberta that we had to play against there for different games or tournaments that we had going on there. So that was probably the only extra like another sport that I did while I was in high school. So I enjoyed that while I was in high school, and I was pretty good at it and got a lot of practice in there too. So we'll give it back to Portland Josh for the next question there.
That's awesome. I come from a basketball family myself. I didn't play ball, but I've always loved basketball. So you went to Bible college?
Yeah, I did go to Bible college for 2 years there, and it was like I got to meet a lot of good men, Christian men and women there when I was there, and they could pray for me, and we got to learn different courses about the Bible and other kind of things there, and then we had youth retreats there with youth coming down for retreats on the weekend, and they stayed in your room and got to hang out with them and pray for them, and then they had a worship time there too, so it was pretty good. And then we did tours going across Canada to do a ministry in other churches across Canada, so it was pretty cool to do that. And then we had different teams. We did that with different students and leaders at the Bible college there. It's called Living Faith, but they changed the name now to Clearwater College there. But it's still doing the same ministry out there. It's really changed since I've been there. So I'll go back to Portland Josh here for the next question here.
Right on. Maybe just a follow-up question on Bible college, your Bible college experience. Where is Clearwater Clearwater Bible College? Is that here in Calgary? If not, where did you attend?
Yeah, it was a little more closer up in by Edmonton. It was by a small town called Caroline there, which is a really small town. It's even smaller than the town I was living in out by Lethbridge there. But it's kind of out in the wilderness, so you go out. The Bible college is located outside there's a whole bunch of trees and everything, so you're out in nature the whole time, and you can see God's creation out there, and it's a good time there. And then they have their own places for the students to stay, for the men and the women there. Then they have a chapel in there. You can do a worship time and skits and everything in there too. And then there's also where we had all the meals there. We celebrated the Canadian Thanksgiving and also the American Thanksgiving in November. So it was good to celebrate that because we had students also from in Canada, but also a few from the States there too. So it's good to celebrate with all of them there too. So it's a good time, and it's good to be there for 2 years there. So we'll get back to Portland Josh here, or Tall Josh, for the next question.
That's awesome. Thank you, Josh. Shifting gear, segueing a little bit, but how did you come about in putting together this online DJ show?
Well, that came around a long time when I was on another site there, which was called Stick 'em at the time there, but it's not around anymore. But it's a different website there. But I was doing my own show, the Fraser Family with Josh on there, and I did a tune into Brand's show called on the BGRN, which he was doing when he was a kid there, and it's cool. I used to doing this online streaming there, so I decided to do my own thing there, and that's how I got into doing my show here, and then it's kind of expanded. So they came back into it before 2020 there with the pandemic there, and really got back into it, doing my own show on Praise the Family with Josh with all Christian music there, and then started up with the BGRN for a couple of years now, and been doing a good mix of Christian music and a bit of mainstream music on there, and then taking people's requests there. So it's good to get back into it, and it kind of expanded my show with different music videos and different sounds, and adding jingles in there too. It's kind of expanded the show with different things going on there, and it's really improved there. This is probably the most time I've talked on the show there, because I usually don't really say very much, so, but it's cool to do something different on the show there, and maybe people like it, and we can maybe do it another time if it does work out there. So that's how I got started out there, and then I did have the royal wave and the royal slap and everything. I started up there too, but usually at the end of the show, and it's my common thing, and people know me as the royal slap king there. So it's what they call me now. So we'll get back to Portland Josh, or Tall Josh, for the next question there.
Yeah, right on, bro. And I like that sign off. I remember when I was here last year, how was your how you I got to see you do the sign off. That's a really awesome trademark to your show. Okay, so who is or are your disc jockey inspirations, if you have any? If not, that's cool too.
Yeah, well, I had a few throughout the years there. I was listening to some DJs in the UK there. That was a long time ago. I used to listen to like Andy and Martin and Mr. T, or Dwayne as they called him, when I was on another site called but it was cool to do that there, and it was we had to do that for a little bit, and then they kind of inspired me. There's another like named DJ Vinyl, which I enjoyed his shows there too, and they were good shows. So they kind of inspired me to do the shows there with the different music and music videos they were doing on there. So they kind of inspired me then even to check out Brian when he was doing the shows when he was younger, and maybe Arthur if I did tune into his shows a long time ago. It kind of inspired me to try and do my own show, and since they were playing their own music, I figured I want to do the same thing on mine and kind of change it up and do my own thing with playing my own music, and do a story time or whatever is on there. So it's kind of a few different DJs from the UK mostly inspired me, and then I wasn't sure where the vinyl was from, but he's a good DJ from where he was from there. But there's a lot of good DJs throughout the years that's kind of inspired me to do music and hang out with them and check out their show, and then they could check out mine when they had a time too. So that's those a few of the people that inspired me to do the show there from a few different sites there. So hopefully that answers your questions there, Portland, Josh, or told you. So I'll give it back to you for the next question there.
That's awesome. Okay, outside of Christian music, Josh, who is or who are your favorite artists or artists and bands?
Yeah, well, I do have a few of those there. I'm a big fan of U2 and do like Shania Twain there, and also Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood there. So some of my favorites there. And then I do I recently got into some other artists like the Beatles there, or the Beach Boys, and also Elton John there, and Linkin Park and Coldplay are pretty good there too. So I got a good mix, and then I kind of find some new artists to check out there and add them into the playlist there, and add in some good music. And even Glenn Campbell's pretty good there too, because I found he says some of the good hymns that he's done, and some more inspirational songs on his songs. So I do like to add those in sometimes there, because I like the version he did of Amazing Grace. It was really well done there. So those are just a few of them that I've enjoyed playing on the show. I do like a Daughtry there for some rock there, and then there's that Evanescence I do play sometimes there, which is more good rock music there. So I do play those every now and then too. So that'll be my answer for this question there, and we'll give it back to Portland Josh or Tall Josh for the next question here.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. I think normally those or people who do interviews, the interviewers, like I'm filling in those shoes right or today, normally don't do commentary. Although I have to. You mentioned Evanescence, and this is kind of off scripted question, Josh, but I hope you'll roll with me on this one. Their song Evanescence, "Wake Me Up Inside." Could we maybe be seeing that as a future, like a wake up kind of song in the future?
Yes, that could be a part of the wake up song there. With that, either that or the Bring Me to Life there that he did with Paul McCoy and the 12 Stones band there. That's another good wake up song there. I think both those songs would work well for some wake up songs. You never know, I could switch it up with these wake up songs on the show. You never know what to be coming every week there. You'll be surprised what will be coming next week. I could surprise you with a little different genre of music you're not even expecting it also. So stay tuned for that, for the wake up music, and there should be some come before the end of the show just to make sure you guys are awake and not falling asleep in the show there. So we get back to Portland Josh or Tall Josh for the next the question here, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Very good. I love it. Excuse me. Okay, for those who may not already know, who is your favorite Christian artist? And then I also have a couple follow-up questions to that too. When did you first become a fan of them? Have you seen them in concert? And have you ever met them? And let me know if you need me to repeat those questions.
Yeah, well, I'm sure everybody knows in the chat that I'm a big fan of Toy Mac with all the Toy Mac posters on there, and I do play Toy Mac on the show there. But I first became a fan of him. I was watching a Christian music video show on TV back when I was in Norfolk, and they played his classic music video for Extreme Days there. And that was a really cool video, and that was his song up his first album there. So he did it for a soundtrack for another movie called Extreme Days, which was pretty cool there. So it was it's one of my favorite songs, and I really got into his music then, and really became a fan of his music since all the members from DT Talk went solo, and they did their own solo music, and I just became a fan of Toy Mac, and I became his number one fan. I did see him twice in concert in Calgary. He did come to I think it was at FAC, or my church there called FAC, or First Alliance Church, and he was also at another church called Center Street there in the north there, so I saw him at both churches there, and they were both really good concerts there, so I would have liked to see him in concert again, but with his son passing away, it didn't work out to see him again, so I'm still waiting for him to come back to do another concert, and hopefully I can maybe see him in a concert here soon, so yeah, so that's my favorite artist there, which should be good there. And
Did you meet them?
no, oh yeah, I haven't actually got to meet him because he has a lot of fans here in Calgary. So the line's pretty long there, and I would have loved to meet him, but I had to wait a very long line just to go meet him there, because he's got a lot of fans here in Calgary, including me, so I would have had to wait a pretty long time just to try and meet him there. So, and we'll get to Portland Josh or Tall Josh for the next question there. And I hope you guys are enjoying the story time with One Ruben here. So we'll be going back to Portland Josh here soon. It's usually One Ruben doing the story time, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the story time here with me and Portland Josh there. So we'll get back to Portland Josh here for the next question. Hope you guys enjoy it here.
Thanks, Josh. Shifting gears, segueing to sports. Josh, do you fit or debunk the stereotype of Canadians being big hockey fans? And then follow-up questions. If you buck that trend, what's your favorite sport? And who's your favorite sports team? How long, or how did you become a fan of them? And what is your favorite player on that team, and why? And again, I can repeat the questions we need to.
Yeah, well, it seems that everybody in Canada is usually a fan of hockey, like the NHL and everything. So, I know I've not really been a fan of the NHL at all, because even the local sports team here has not been the best team called the Calgary Flames. They haven't really did so well. They got into the playoffs, but then they didn't make it so well. So, but my favorite sport is basketball. So I've become a big fan of the NBA. So I've followed the games there, and the Toronto Raptors came in a long time ago in 1995, and they're the only Canadian team that's been around. So I've been a fan of them being so I've had a lot of favorite players over the years. There's been like Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady and a bunch of other players. There's a lot of good players on the team now, but they kind of changed everything around with the team now. So it's hard to find a good player on the team there, but they have a pretty good team this year. So hopefully they'll be doing well in the next season here. So, but my favorite player formerly from the Raptors was Kyle Lowry. He does play for the Miami Heat now, but he was one of my favorite players on the Toronto Raptors when he was playing there for the longest time there. He was a good guard, and there's been a lot of good guards on the Toronto Raptors there, and it's been a good team. Then they had Damon Sommer a long time ago. He's another good guard, but he's went into coaching now, so he's been a good player, and that'd be probably my favorite team there. I do like the teams in the States there, but it's been I do like to support the Canadian teams, but the Vancouver Grizzlies have moved to Memphis. They were a good team for a little bit. They didn't really do very well in Vancouver, but now they're in Memphis, but they have other things going on there, so it's hard to tell if they're going to be good or not with the team they got there. So, and that'll be hopefully I got all the questions here. And then we'll give it back to the Portland Josh here for the next question.
Thanks, Josh. I have kind of a related, kind of a scripted but related question as far as like the NBA. So you live here, you've lived a good part of your life here in Calgary, Canada, and the population of Calgary is about 1.5 million. So it's a pretty good size like pro sports market. With me being visiting American, like from Portland, we have the Blazers, and we have a comparable population to support, the team in Portland. I know Calgary has long supported the Calgary Flames in hockey, in the NHL. Has there been any talks here in Calgary of maybe like an expansion NBA team?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about a NBA team coming to Calgary, but the two major sports teams here in Calgary are mostly the Flames, and then they have the CFL with the Stampeders there. So those are probably the two main teams. So you do have another team that plays from the CFL or CIBL or something like that. There's the Calgary Surge, but they're not a professional team. They're just more like a local team that plays here in Calgary at the Winsport there, but they got a pretty good team there too, but they're not actually a pro team in Calgary, but they actually have some pretty good basketball games there too. So, but it would be cool to see an NBA team in Calgary. I'm sure if they had a team here, I'd probably love to go see the game there, because it's a rare time that the Raptors do come out here for the exhibition game to play a team for before the season starts there. So it would be cool to see that, but that's the only time you can actually see a basketball game, if the Raptors come to play a game at the Saddle Dome here in Calgary, and it would be cool to see that, but it just hasn't worked out to do that at all. So, but I would love to see a basketball game if it is the Raptors here in Calgary there, but that would be one of the things I'd love to see, but it would be cool to have a team from Calgary in the NBA too, but that's only if the NBA does expand anymore, because they've really expanded teams all over the place. But it was sad when they left the team out of the Seattle Supersonics there. I was just sad to see them, because they had such a great teams over the years, but it might happen here in Calgary at some point there. So we'll get back to Portland Josh here for the next question here.
Cool, thanks, Josh. I just have a couple questions to kind of bring it on the home stretch here. So we're here. We are in about halfway through 2023. So what, Josh? What is your current short-term and long-term goals and/or objectives for the DJ Josh Show?
Well, since I've been doing the show for a long time, I'm just trying to find new ideas to add for the show there, and listening to my other friends that do their shows during the week, I kind of find some other ideas of what they do to wake people up, or to find some other things there. With this idea of doing the story time on the show was a new idea, and I figured it might work out pretty good there, because it's never been a story time, and I haven't really talked this much on my show for the longest time, and it's probably unusual for people to hear me talking this long there, but it's good to add in some new ideas here to maybe keep people intrigued and maybe want to watch the show there with maybe doing a story time in there, or doing a little a sermon in the middle of the show or something like that. There's always some new ideas I can keep thinking of. Not going to be in the short term or the long term, because you can always think of new ideas every year to come up with a show there. So it's you got to think of new ideas. Even with the wake up music videos, that was a new idea I thought of, the adding in different sounds and music videos to try and wake people up. That's why I started last week with the sounds there, and then some rap videos in there to see if people would wake up there, and then I usually add in with the wake up songs in the playlist there to make sure people are awake there. Just to make that's something I usually add in there, and then so always some new ideas to come up with, and it's just whatever I can think of, just to expand the show and make it a little different than it usually is. And even a story time probably wouldn't be too bad at all, because it's just something new on the show, and if people like it, then we can do it again if they want to maybe talk more on the mic and find out more about me or what's going on in my life, or what my favorite music are, or anything like that. So there's always new ways to expand the show in the short term and long term with different ideas I can come up there. So we give it back to Portland Josh here for the next question.
Thanks, Josh. I know personally, I shared with Josh before the show that sometimes I personally benefit from the wake up songs. I'm never bored by tuning into Josh's show, but I think for admittedly sometimes with the certain time of the afternoon, like on a Sunday, just kind of that late afternoon kind of that fatigue thing, kind of, or the trying to. But anyways, I think you guys kind of get that. But anyways, I just had a final question, and I want to thank you, Josh, my newer friend, for having me in your hospitality, your family's hospitality, me visiting you here in Calgary. We had those of you who don't know, I was real blessed and fortunate to get to hang out with Josh and his family, and he and his brother and I went to movies yesterday afternoon, and then had a nice time gathering in the house at church last night. But anyways, final question: who is your favorite DJ Josh show fan? Josh? No, I'm just kidding. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I was wondering if my special guest star is my biggest fan, or if it would be any one of you guys that's listening to the show. You gotta let me know in the chat there, see if you're my number one fan, or if it'll be my special guest here that's my number one fan. You never know who's gonna be the number one fan there. Because I'm sure I got a lot of fans there, but not sure who's the number one fan there. But this will be concluding. Looks like we got a good story time here. It's also a half an hour there, but looks like that'll be a good story time with Portland Josh and DJ Josh here. Hope you guys enjoyed the story time here. I'm not sure if I was good as Juan Rubin, but we'll have to see what the fans say in the show there. If I was better than Juan Rubin, I'm not sure if we made you guys laugh or what was going on, or if you found it more interesting or thought-provoking what we were talking about in the story time here. So hope you guys enjoyed it here. We stopping the recording here shortly here. Hope you guys enjoyed the story time with DJ Josh and Portland Josh there, and hopefully we can maybe do this again there. If you guys enjoyed it, we can maybe do a story time by myself, or have a story time with another time if it works out there. So